Hey everyone, I'm excited to be using a new education software that I've been playing around with, which is called ScreenFlow. And what it's going to allow me to do is show you what's happening on the screen while I talk to you a little bit. I wanted to make sure that I created a little tutorial for you because I know, particularly if this is your first time composing, it can be kind of daunting or intimidating. And especially because we didn't have a lot of time to go over composing in sequences in class today, I wanted to make sure that I went over that with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to input a little melody that I've been thinking about for the past couple of minutes or so. That's going to serve as sort of our test subject, literally and figuratively. And looks something like this. Now, what I like about this melody, as I was thinking about it, first of all, you can see with my mouse pointer here, you have a clearly delineated harmony. Now remember, I don't have perfect pitch, so please forgive me. Bum, 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 bum. So you have do, sol, do, re, mi. This is one complete harmony. Then we have fa, re, and that's another harmonic implication there, a different chord. And then we have fa, re, mi, do, mi, sol, fa, mi, re. The other thing that I like about this melody is it has one clear melodic floor, one clear melodic ceiling. It also has a nice compound melody implication. G, then up to A, then up to B, then we go up here and then back down. Just ignore the fact that my startup disk is almost full, because I think that's how we're all feeling at this point in the semester, probably. That'll pop back up again in a second. I told you so. So we have here a melody that we're going to work with. The other thing that I like about this is that the harmonic implication is really, really, really clear. We start with a one chord. We go to something else. I'm going to choose to analyze this as some sort of dominant rather than two. So either a 7 diminished 7 or a 5, 5, 7. This could be any 7 diminished, really. And then we're back to 1. And that's why I want this chord to be 7 diminished rather than 2. Either 7 diminished or 5 rather than 2, because we're going to go back to 1. So then we continue on with 1, and then I would probably have this be CAD 6-4, and then this A would probably be harmonized by 5. And now I'm going to have a chance to harmonize that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this material. I'm literally copying and pasting it. So I'm taking that all. Everything about it is copied and pasted. I'm going to take it down the octave. And now, poof, we have our material. We have our subject. Now I'm going to write a quick little counter subject. I haven't thought about this much, but I'm probably going to want to maybe imply a B there, so that that works in invertible counterpoint. We have a third that's going to invert to a sixth. And then maybe, I'm not going to be very creative here. Maybe we could have an E. How about? So that we invert to a sixth. Now that's not within the one chord, I realize, but we'll leave that for now. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have maybe some sort of F sharp implication. So I can ornament this a little bit. Something like that. Particularly because we want to resolve this up to a G. And then play around with this a little bit. Maybe this goes up to a D. And we can then go G, F sharp, G. This is a very bad counter subject. I did not think about this counter subject as much as I thought about the subject itself. I might change this around a little bit. I might make that just arpeggiating within the one chord. Yeah, I'm liking this a little bit better. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we're arpeggiating within the one chord, so that's why that fourth is okay, because we're arpeggiating. So arpeggiating, we have 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. I know that's a lot of sixes, but I'm thinking on my feet. And then we go back to a one chord. We jump up. Maybe we can keep those 16th notes going. There we go. Happy little 16th notes. Third, second acting as a passing tone, 6, 6, 6, 6. I'm using a lot of sixths in here. Maybe it's just that kind of night. We then go to a B here, and we go to a G here. Great. So now we have subject. We've got our counter subject. Now what I want to do is I want to write some sequences. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to start with a circle of fifths sequence. And I'm not even going to try to write in the melody. I'm just going to write out the sequence. Now look at my harmonic rhythm here. I have a chord for 2 beats. I have another chord for 1 beat. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to keep that same harmonic rhythm. So I'm going to put in my circle of fifths sequence, which you can find on your handout, which is up on Blackboard. So 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, and we'll get to that in a second. Now, if I construct this right, if I construct one measure, then I can basically copy and paste that measure and just transpose it down by steps for these chords. So I'm going to play around. I'm going to play around with the material that I already have. Remember, Bach likes to be efficient, and so do we. So I'm going to play around with this material. So I had this material from before. Bum, 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 ba-dum. So maybe I'll keep it the same. Since we're going to a 4 chord, the A is not in a 4 chord, right? So instead of leaping down to an A, I'm going to leap down to something that's in the 4 chord. So I'm going to choose E. That's what I feel like right now. So now I'm going to work out some counterpoint for this. Let's figure out some structural notes first. I'm not going to worry about gunk in the middle. I'm just going to worry about structure. So let's have root position 1. So we've got 1 6 here. We've got root position 1 here. A 4 chord. I could stay on the G, but as you'll probably realize, that's going to form a 6/4 chord. So I'm not going to do that. Let's go down to an E. Then I form a 6th. And then I could leap down to a C, and that would form a 3rd. There you go. That'll work for now. Maybe I'll add in some sort of happy little passing tone. Right there. Not necessary, but it's a possibility. So now, if we take a look at this, there's two ways that we can do this. The long way is to say, okay, here's the 1 chord. I've got the root of the 1 chord here. So that means here I'm going to put the root of the 7 chord. And then I'm going to follow that through. Root of the 1 chord, root of the 7th chord. 5th of the 1 chord, 5th of the 7th chord, root of the 1 chord. Passing tones on up. Then I get a 3, so I'm going to do root of the 3 chord, then 3rd of the 3 chord, because this was root of the 4 chord, root of the 3rd chord. Now, that's the long way around. The short way is to say, oh, hey, if I've created this well, all I really have to do is bump everything down a step, and then it all works. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to bump everything from the measure before down a step, and then we can check it. 7 diminished. There's our 3rd. That's what we had here. 3rd of the 1 chord. 7 diminished. There's our root. Over here we had root of the 1 chord. 7 diminished. There's a passing tone down. We had passing tone over here. and then we had 3. This was we had 3, 6. This is our third. So we've got first inversion there. That's how we started the 4 chord here, first inversion. And then we go to root position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that through for this third leg. Remember, a leg is a unit of a sequence that's repeated, and it usually has 2 harmonies in it. That's what we're working with here. Scroll back over. And there we go. Now, if I did 5 and then I arrived on 1 here, it wouldn't be very satisfying because we really want to try to have cadences on strong beats. So we want 1 to be right here. So for this, instead of 5, I'm going to put the 5 over here, and I'm going to do a CAD 6/4. So sol, sol, fa, sol, do. Something like that. So here is CAD 6/4. I'm just going to ornament this a little bit. There we go. Mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. And there we go. So that's how we formed a sequence. Here's what it sounds like. Now I'm not sure if this is going to play through the computer speakers, if this will record it, but we'll go ahead and give it a chance. Here we go. It's not the most inspired thing in the world, but it does the job. Now, you might be wondering what to do if you want to create a modulation, which is something that I'd encourage you to do. Basically, at that point, you could, let's say we wanted to move to E minor. We'd probably go along here and say, okay, where could we have a pivot chord that goes to E minor? Well, here's our E minor chord. So you know this should be 1. So if we back it up, we can say, okay, so instead of a 3 here, this should be 5 in the new key of E. That should be a B major chord, because if we're going to arrive on 1 there. So then we could back that up and say, okay, well, let's back it up 1 more. That means this is going to be 2 diminished in E. So that's going to be our pivot chord. So you can change up sequences, and that's absolutely fine. That's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to add in a sharp, here, and then let me get this out of the way so it's not confusing. So we've arrived on 1 here, but it's a 1/6, and I might really want to prepare it, prepare the arrival of the cadence. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do 5 in E minor, and let's see, I'll play around with this so that so all I've done here is I've kept the same basic idea. I've just changed the chords, the quality of the chords, so they inflect the key that I want to go to. So it's totally legit to modulate. We're going to see this more. And all I've done here is I've changed the progression so that it implies E minor as we move along. And it'll make it a little bit more exciting. So we have a 1 chord here. We have the implication of a 4, implication of a CAD 6/4 in E minor, then a 5, and then a 1. And then what we'd probably do is we'd probably start this process all over again. Or whatever it was. There we go. Went up to scale degree 5. Boom. So we've got that material. Here's what this sounds like so far. So there's the start of our invention. So you can take any of the chord progressions that you see on the sequence sheet, you can play around with them, and you can fit your motivic material to those sequences. But I would start with the harmonies first if you're not used to working with counterpoint. Start with the harmonies first, then see how you can fit in the motivic material that you have. So happy composing. Have a good rest of the weekend.